You need to start getting frugal if you haven't been already. Because if you haven't realised already, it's going to get bad. If you think it's bad now, it's going to get really bad. I cannot express this enough. How you need to change what you're doing. Your way of life. Or get out of the United States. Now, I'm a Brit living here in France. It's a lovely place to be, it really is. And if you want to move to France, I'll explain in another video how you could actually do that. But you see, you might not have no options but to stay put. If that's the case, you need to think, how can I save money? Maybe a side hustle or something. I'll explain about that in a moment. But how do you save money? Now we have, as a people, not just in the United States, but right across the world, we've got this habit now, haven't we, where we just keep thinking on taking out subscription after subscription after subscription after subscription. And when you add them all together and you look at your expenditure for the month, before you know it, you got 150 quid and just it's subscriptions for stuff. Mobile phone contracts where you don't actually use all of the contract. Maybe you can bring that down a bit, if it's possible. You need to start thinking about how to save money. I said, start a business. Start a business. You think, what the hell would I do that for? Besides, what would I do? Well, you don't have to do much at all, to be honest. You can just start a business as a tool to save money. Been there, done that. But they were actually bona fide businesses. But the principle is the same. Now, this was brought by Reagan made it a lot easier for American citizens to start a small business. You see, you don't have to make a profit, for about 3 odd years, yet you can declare your expenses. Now, what could be your expenses? Got a car, haven't you? Well, you can knock a portion of that off. The cost of the car. So you make a little bit of money on the side, a bit on your side hustle, but you can practically pay zero taxes. You don't think the billionaires pay taxes, do you? That's what they're doing. A part of the house that you use for your business. Could be just your office. Just needs to be somewhere you put your computer, or your tablet, or your mobile phone, Could be anything. Oh, okay, yeah, I've got 30 square feet there that I use for my office. I'm going to put that expenditure, which then means you can have your cleaning expenses, your household expenses, all that. You can split it. So you can save some money there on against your taxes. So there are ways of clawing some of this back. Now, most businesses operate like that, okay? It's just how it is. It's not necessarily tax avoidance, it's just you claiming your expenses, and that's what you're allowed to do on your vehicles. And if you've got a truck, for instance, and another car, I don't know what the laws are in the US regarding that, but if I was in the UK, it used to be, if you have a truck, you can claim it 100%, It had at least a 1-ton payload. So, that, a lot of people drive trucks in the United States. So if that is the case in the United States, I'm almost surprised you could claim most of it. If not, you've got an estate car, you could claim, I think, like 80% of that. And it goes on and on and on. And it includes the cost of the vehicle as well over 3 years. It's your business vehicle. You can start declaring how many miles you do for business or for your home use and stuff like that. There are lots of ways of wrangling it so you pay less in taxes. You could take out a loan on the basis of starting up your business. You then have expenses there, which can then be declared against your taxes. But you could use that money for something else, all right? Something that you plan to do. Maybe you're going to use that money maybe to invest in your so-called business property, if you know what I mean. Increasing the value of that so-called business property. Then you've got to think about how, there are other basic stuff you can do. food at the moment is, well, just absolute madness, how expensive it's becoming. I saw that 48 or $22 a pound for ground beef. Wasn't it? No, it wasn't ground beef, that was beef steak. No, stewing steak. So it's the chewy one. Right? So that was bloody expensive. Food is getting so expensive in the United States. All the imported goods, such as the chemicals, cleaning chemicals and stuff like that, they are becoming too bloody expensive. But there are things that you can do that can actually reduce your expenditure. Now, when you're actually trying to save, because everything's so expensive, saving a few pennies here and there makes a big difference, you know. Like my grandmother used to say, look after the pennies, the pounds will look after themselves. Now, I live in France, right, and we grow our own food. You know, we've got our greenhouses and polytunnels over there, and we grow loads of tomatoes, peppers, chilies, you name it, we grow it. And it saves a lot of money because we store them for the year. We can them, to boil them up, basically, in jars. That's what we do. Maybe that's something you need to look at doing. When the food is cheap, how do you actually... Maybe there's something, I don't know, maybe there is a load of product. Meat, for instance. I saw earlier today in a video where imported meat from Canada, Canadian beef, was half price because it's going off, or about to go off. Past its sell by or use by date, whatever it is. Well, it's still perfectly good meat. Well, cook it up straight away. And stick it in the freezer. Cooked. You know? Grind it, make it minced beef or whatever, you know. Make it into a chilli. Just do things that make sense. But imported foodstuffs are obviously going to become more expensive because of these tariffs. But when those prices go up, the demand becomes higher on other product items as well. So those prices, even if they're grown in the United States, will also go up in price. It's the same difference, the same as if, for instance, you normally might be buying, I don't know, store brands. Well, they're always the ones that go first, because usually when it's a case, obviously prices are high, people are going for the store brands anyway, and then people are being forced to buy the high priced items that are even higher, you know, because of these tariffs. So get rid of the subscriptions, get rid of the stuff you don't need. Can you get away with one car? Do you live in a city? Do you actually need a car at this stage? Look at insurances, because insurances are going through the roof. Things are going to get bad. And whenever you can, buy your basics. Stock up on your bases. Not chickpeas, because they don't keep that long, even dry. But beans and stuff like that, stock up on them, dry. You know, where you don't need a lot of storage. Because there's going to be a situation, you're going to find yourself in a situation where a lot of these stores will not have food. Because they can't afford to have the stuff sitting there going off. So only the dry foods, the canned foods are going to be the ones on the shelves. Fresh foods, you must forget about it, because no one's going to be buying it. It'd be too expensive, you know. And grow a bit of veg. It's probably a bit late for you. Well, you might be right, but it's probably a bit late for you now. But think about next year, because this shit is going to get so bad. Also, think about buying your seed now. If you are going to plan to grow your food, buy your seed now. Tomato seeds last a couple of 3 years anyway. Parsnips, no. Okay, they don't. You've got to buy them on seed, you know, for that season generally. But get them as soon as you possibly can, over the winter or whatever. Order them online if you have to. But get your seeds ready for next year, because a lot of people are going to be thinking exactly the same. They're going to be digging bits of the lawn up and whatever. You think, I'm going to start growing some food. I've lost my job. Maybe this is something I can do. You know, got a bit more time now or whatever. You know. So you need to get it now. So think ahead. Always be a few steps ahead. And look at everything laterally as well. Okay, that's going more expensive. Does that affect that over there? Let's say, for instance, all right, the cost of grain has gone up. All right, the cost of maize, cost of wheat. So, you know, there's not just foodstuffs that we use to, you know, we eat. It's used as fodder for the animals. So meat products go up in price because the grain prices go up. You've got to think outside the box. Not everything is like straight in front of your face. Now, if you are someone who's frugal, if you are someone who understands about living off-grid, because I do, pretty much. We're not 100% off-grid, but we've got our solar panels, we've got solar hot water, our water comes out of the well. You know, we do as much as we possibly can to keep our expenditure down. Now, me and the missus have talked about it this morning because we're looking at the prices of foodstuffs in the United States and how people can manage that. So Caroline was looking at how much you need in the United States monthly to survive. And a big portion of that was just rents and stuff, massive. Here in France, our rents are low. I ain't got a rent because I bought my house. I bought a regular house and I've done it myself. So I've got no mortgage, so I'm quite lucky like that. So I keep all my cost expenditures relatively low. We earn very little money on YouTube. And I spend a huge amount of time. If you worked out the amount of time I spend on YouTube to the amount of money that we get, I'd be on about 50 cents an hour. I mean, it's ridiculously low. Right across the board. I mean, and very little at all. And although it's helpful, I have to do other stuff, as well. I'm a gigolo. I don't even know that. I'll just check out my website. Yeah. gigolomarcus.com it is. Yeah. It's quite busy, Yes. Yeah, check it out. Tell me in the comments down below if you did. Now, oh, blimey, even I couldn't pull that one off. So, yeah, you just got to think outside the box. And when you see a whole load of bananas, and they're all brown in the box, what have you, and they're practically being given away, that's when they're the best. When those skins are brown, that is when those bananas are fully ripe and the flavour's intense. Dry them. Make yourself a little drying box up. If you're in high temperatures, what have you, a drying box, make sure you put a mesh over the top of it so the sun can get in but the bugs don't, and dry it. The flavour in those bananas, absolutely fantastic. You can do the same with your tomatoes. And if you skin your tomatoes like we do when we put them in our sauces or in our jars, we keep the skins. We dry them, and then we use a coffee blender, your coffee grinder, a whizzy one, and we put it in there and turn it into powder. And it's then an enhancer, a tomato enhancer that we use in our foods. It's just fantastic. I'll tell you, the intensity of that flavour is immense. And they dry quickly, you see, because they're skins. There's loads of things you can do. When you look at a cabbage and you've got one growing in the garden, obviously you cook your cabbage up, don't pull it right up. Just chop the top. You'll get lots of young greens on the tops of your cabbages. Same with, if you like Brussels sprouts, like I do, good for your eye and what have you. You can eat the shoots, do the same with that. Take them off and watch all the little greeny shoots to the top. All this fresh young growth. Really yummy. Just like little leafy sprouts. Yeah, really good stuff. There's so many things you can do to think outside the box and then think about foraging. Get there before anyone else does. Because I keep looking at this, you see, with Donald Trump absolutely devastating your economy, the businesses are all going bankrupt. You've got Walmart getting rid of 154, or is it more than that? 154, oh crikey, 154 superstores. So you're looking at 200 odd employees. There's about 30,000 odd employees added to the job losses, They're not the only ones. Businesses all across the board all shutting up shop, especially in Vegas, the hotels, they're shutting up shop. They can't stay open. People got no money, so you're going to have to be more frugal. You're going to have to think outside the box. You really are. And get rid of the fucking subscriptions and stop funding the billionaires. Anyway, please beep the old like button and maybe subscribe to the channel, a little bell icon, because then you get one fuzz video in your pocket every time I upload another video. And if you didn't know already, because I've been saying every video just recently, we're doing a rewilding here in France. We're planting shitloads of trees. We're doing at least 1,000, 1,500 trees on 2 hectares of land. Which, oh crikey, what's 2 hectares? About 5-6 acres, is that something like that? 2 hectares is 2,500. Yeah, but around 5 acres of land, which we're planting trees on. And if you want a tree, there's links down below, but you can have a tree and have your name or memory of a loved one with your tree. And I'm losing my voice. There I am. I just made a shitload of videos out here. Blimey, it's lovely though. Feckin' hot though, I'll tell you. 41 yesterday it was. I think it's about 38, 39 today. It's crazy hot. I had to wet my hat down. I soaked it. It's dry now. I literally soaked the hat to keep my head cool. And it's dried up now. Toodaloo. Don't forget, comment down below. And be frugal.